and this is going to be important so you understand what we're going to do in Tanakh class for the next couple of weeks. Thanks, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, you can give her an applause.
So the other really important thing in my resume is that I graduated from Schechter, but long before there was even Wells Avenue. So it's a long, long time ago. I want you to think for a second about one of your favorite teachers. Everyone sort of bring that teacher into your head. And think about what it was about that teacher that really made a difference. Maybe it was that she always challenged you to do cool things. Maybe it was that he made jokes all the time and that really influenced how you embraced the subject. Right? Think about what it was. Maybe it was that that teacher just pushed you in directions you didn't think you could go. Maybe it was that teacher saw you for who you really are. Well, when I was here in the 8th grade of Schechter, there was that teacher, Peter Stark. And I didn't really realize it at the time, right? Sometimes when we're in 8th grade and maybe they're not the coolest teachers you think, right? I get that. We didn't necessarily think that then. I'm going to tell you about the assignment he gave us on the first day of school. He said, we're going to start with the book of Kohelet, the book of Ecclesiastes. It's the scroll, the Megillah that we read on Sukkot. So it made sense. Go home and study it. He said, come back, and I want you to have memorized the second verse. Okay. So one by one, we got up that morning, and we said the second verse. This one said, no, sit down. Because we had to stand up and say it. This one said it. No, sit down. This one said it. No, 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 no. Every single person. He said, go home, you did it wrong. So we all looked at ourselves and we said, we did it right. We know we did it right. What's he saying? Well, we had one tiny little mistake. So the words, Rachel, did you have him as a teacher too? Oh, I thought I almost saw that kind of smile like I know where she's going. So it turns out, the second line of the book of Kohelet, I'm going to give you a copy of it in a little bit, is Havel Havalim Amar Kohelet, Havel Havalim Hakol Havel. Now Peter Stark was very into detail, and he was also very theatrical. Okay, I'm going to show you some awesome pictures of him from all of these amazing plays that he was in. So each one of us had gotten up there and said, Havel Havalim Amar Kohelet, Havel Havalim Hakol Havel. Havel Havalim Amar Kohelet, Havel Havalim Hakol, do it with me, Havel. He went on to explain that it was because of the grammar and that was really important. But the other part of it was this verse and what this verse meant. Vanity of vanities, said Kohelet, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Or, nothing of nothingness, said Kohelet, nothing of nothingness, all is nothing. In other words, he was trying to show us that this very silly verse, with the same word over and over again, with a minor grammatic difference, that said almost nothing, really said everything. That was Peter Stark. My favorite Peter Stark example, you would say, what time is it? You'd look at the clock, everyone turn your heads, look up at the clock, and there would be a big sign up there that said, time to start paying attention. Okay, he had covered over the clock in his class. He had us laughing, he had us exploring, he had us understanding that the world of the Tanakh wasn't just something that happened a really long time ago. It was something that impacted our lives every single day. So I'm going to hand out a sheet for you. We're not going to look at the whole thing right now. And thank you, Rachel. And Ravid's going to start playing a song in a second, because what I want you to see, and this was something Peter loved to do, was to take the Tanakh. So you see there on that first page with all the Hebrew, that second line there. Anyone want to dare to read it in the Hebrew? I won't send you home. Come on. Pardon me? No? Havel Havalim. Come on. You see right there? Amar Kohelet. Havel Havalim. Hakol Havel. And then you see right under that, chapter 3. So he also had us memorize that. I don't think I could still do it, but 8 Laletiv and 8 Lamud. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's a really cool chapter. But what he loved to show us, if you flip the page, was how from Tanakh, cue Ravid, something
Right
cool
now?
will come. Yes, right now. You probably don't know this song because it's from before I was born and I'm super old. So that's okay. But what's cool is I want you to notice that on the left side is this song and the right side is the Tanakh. Can you compare them? It's a song from the 60s, a real song. Nobody remembers it. Can I tell you that? This is So you all can keep looking at that as the time goes on. Now I want to tell you, I'm going to show you some pictures of Peter because I think that's really important for you to know who he was. I also want you to know though that a couple years ago Peter was supposed to come back to start teaching here. He could have been your teacher. He came here on a cold January day and signed a contract and was ready to teach. Unfortunately, he left and was in a car accident that killed him. And when we got the call, all of a sudden, people I hadn't talked to in like over 20 years since I left Schefter reached out. And we formed this circle. Now Peter, he wasn't married, he didn't have children, and he came from a very small family. In fact, his only relative that we know of is a cousin who lives in New Jersey. And that cousin reached out to me, and of course there are many people who've gone to Schefter over the years who've become rabbis, but I don't know, I was the first one who said, oh my goodness, I'll do this. And so I had the privilege of going to New Jersey on a cold January day to do his funeral because I'm a rabbi. And as I mentioned, there's not a lot of family. There were like hundreds of people there. His students, parents of his students, so many parents from like Newton and Brookline came down to New Jersey to do this funeral, to be part of this funeral, to honor a teacher who had so impacted all of the kids. So we've gotten together, all of us alumni from those years who knew and loved Peter. And we have established something here for, you guys are the first ones, and I'm hoping that like for generations to come, this will be something that we'll be able to share and to remember Peter. And that is a special, an endowment, a lot of money given to Schefter so that you guys can study the book of Kohelet this year with Rabbi Tillis, and to really get to understand this amazing book and to be able to learn it in Peter's memory. And I think all of that is super duper important, and also just being able to know that even though I've never met any of you, and we're not connected, that we do have this incredible connection, that there are alumni of Schefter who so deeply love this place and who have been so profoundly impacted by an educator. And so I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to show you some pictures in a second. I'll pass these around. I'm actually going to leave these here for you all to see. I know it's hard to see from far away, but Peter was super into acting. Okay, I'm going to pass these around, but I just love that he's not in a wheelchair, he's in a play. And he loved, I think this must be his mother. And then here he is in Jerusalem. He did a lot of work with teens who needed extra connections and extra support. And then this is my favorite. Someone's going to know what play this is. I don't, but he was a character actor. He was a big guy, larger than life, and he loved life. And when you study Kohelet, and when you keep studying together, I'm going to challenge you to do two things. One is to take the words of Kohelet, not just the nothingness, but also the to everything there is a season, and all of the other wisdom you're going to get there, and to think about how that impacts your life. And two, to keep looking for the amazing educators, the ones you have here, and to find the beauty in what they have to teach you, and also what you can find from each other. Because what you never know is where you're going to find that incredible inspiration. thank you for allowing me to be here today. You can take that sheet with you and keep learning, and we'll pass around the Peter pictures. And Hatzlacha on your limudim. I hope that your studies of Kohelet are really awesome and inspiring. So, thank you.
Thank you.